Good evening. You're watching the news on Croatian television. Croatia and Slovenia have presented their cases in the border dispute before the European Commission. Slovenia has threatened to take Croatia to the European Court of Justice over its refusal to implement the border arbitration ruling, which Slovenia claims violates EU law. Croatia argues that Slovenia has no case because the European Court of Justice does not have the power to determine the border between member states. Diplomats say that after today's hearing, the Commission may choose not to issue an opinion or may issue one that takes neither side. The EC's opinion may not matter because Slovenia has already decided to go ahead with the lawsuit.
What is most important right now is that Croatia chose the correct response to Slovenia's complaint. I think that the Commission now has enough information and arguments to reach a conclusion. In our closing arguments, we stress that the European Commission, as the guardian of the principal treaties, will act in the interest of protecting those treaties by rejecting Slovenia's complaint. Croatia has consistently urged Slovenia to refrain from escalating the situation, and we regret that they have chosen to go after Croatian fishermen, and we were forced to respond. Today, we again said that this is not the path toward a solution. We must sit down and come to an agreement. We are also sorry Slovenia did not accept our very constructive proposal related to the border.
The biggest sticking point in the dispute is Savudrija Bay, where Slovenian police are continuing to fine Croatian fishermen for crossing the border.
We started fishing again in that area because the fish have come back. I was there twice last week and I received one ticket and am expecting another. We are doing what we were told by our government, continuing on as if nothing happened and the problem is being taken care of. They are taking responsibility for resolving the problem.
Homeland War veterans commemorated today 12 special police officers killed in Borovo Selo by Serb paramilitary units between May 1st and the 2nd, 1991, during a nighttime ambush. State officials and veterans groups placed wreaths at the memorial to the 12 men.
As soon as we arrived, they started shooting at us. We just ran for our lives. We told everything we saw to the state prosecutor. I gave a statement 4 times, but I was asked to just forget what happened. They told me there was no need for me to come back and tell my story because no one will ever be convicted of the crime that was committed. We maintained our dignity in making our sacrifice. We remained honorable in our victory. Croatia remains on the side of truth and justice, as it was during the Homeland War, and as were the 12 Croatian special police officers who were killed that day.
Today was also the 23rd anniversary of the shelling of Zagreb. Rebel Serbs launched cluster bombs into the center of the capital on May 2nd and 3rd in retaliation for Operation Flash, which had won back control of western Slavonia. Among the targets that were struck was the Children's Hospital. 7 civilians were killed and more than 200 wounded. The victims were commemorated by their families and city officials.
I was holding my infant son when I heard the blast. People were saying that they had shelled Zagreb. My husband was in town. I had no idea what happened. Only later, I recognized him by his sneakers on the TV news. It was well after midnight when they came to tell me that my husband had been killed. At first, I thought it was the Grič cannon sounding at noon. But then I heard a blast behind me. I have a spinal injury and shrapnel down my back from the neck to my heels.
Agrokor's suppliers met today to discuss how to proceed in the process of reaching a settlement with the heavily indebted food and retail group. They unanimously voted to dispute an agreement between the city of Zagreb and Agrokor's government-appointed crisis managers, which they claim puts the city into a privileged position with respect to other creditors. They are also pleased that the High Commercial Court has rejected an arrangement for putting creditors into what are called classes or groups. The court said creditors will have to be grouped differently.
We said from the very beginning that grouping suppliers together with all kinds of other stakeholders in this process doesn't make sense. We believe there will be more members on the Creditors' Council and that they will be grouped according to their interests.
We are well aware that we have to stick together and we have to reach an agreement in order to eke out the best possible terms in the draft settlement agreement, because unfortunately we are not a deciding factor. The settlement can be approved without us.
In related news, the High Commercial Court has also accepted the appeals of 10 Croatian and foreign creditors, overturning a decision on creating a creditors' council that had grouped creditors into 5 classes. The decision could complicate efforts to reach a settlement. A delegation from the European Organization for Nuclear Research, known as CERN, was in Croatia today for a final round of negotiations for Croatia's application for membership. The 5-member commission visited several private firms, the Math and Physics Department at the University of Zagreb and the Ruđer Bošković Institute. If the commission gives the green light, cooperation on major projects will provide Croatian businesses with opportunities for development. Membership also comes with a price tag of 1 million Swiss francs.
Cooperation with CERN and the European Space Agency has proven to advance research, but at the same time, all of the side products of that research have become major industries.
In sports, Croatia's Jana Fet has reached the quarterfinals of the WTA tournament in Rabat, Morocco. Fet beat Magdalena Frech of Poland in straight sets in the second round. Her next opponent will be Zagreb native Alja Tomljanović, who plays for Australia.
The forecast calls for rain and thunder showers overnight and tomorrow morning on the coast and in the west, where downpours could be quite heavy. The central interior and the east will start off sunny, but showers are expected by the afternoon. Slavonia, Baranja, and Srem will get the most sunshine on Thursday. There will be moderate easterly and northeasterly winds in the interior. On the coast, there will be a moderate to high southeasterly on the central and southern sections and a northeasterly in the north. Morning lows will range from 12 to 17 in the interior and from 14 to 19 on the coast. Highs for the day will be between 21 and 27 degrees, slightly warmer in the east. Over the next 2 days, it will be wet in the interior with showers and thunder showers. Sunday will be less wet with more sunny spells. Temperatures will remain quite warm, especially in the east. On the coast, conditions will be variable with frequent showers, especially in the north. More sunshine is expected on Sunday in the north, but the south may still get some rain. On the north coast, there will be a northeasterly wind, while Dalmatia can count on a southeasterly before shifting to a northwesterly and a northeasterly on Sunday.
And that brings us to the end of the news. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow.